I said support, straight, smiles. 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 I said support, straight, smiles.
Hello, hello, hello. Get set up here. All right, come on in the room. Come on in the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got a couple of people still coming in and connecting to audio. I want to thank you for being here. I am Dr. Lori Hicks of LCH Studios, and I am here to do a masterclass to work with you all to talk about vocal technique and to do some warm-ups. We're going to do some things together as well. And what do I need to do here? Okay, I need to stop sharing and I need to pin. There we go. There we go. So hello. I still see Eva's still connecting. And I'm going to just kind of give it another few minutes while people get settled and people come in the room. Oh, let me open up the chat too. Hi, Ashley. How are you? Welcome back. Thanks for coming. So let's see. There's something that I wanted to do really quickly. So I'm going to share the PowerPoint. Actually, first, we're going to do an exercise. We're going to do a warm-up exercise. And I might need, okay, let me let a couple more people in. Let's see. All right, come on in the room. Come on in the room. Hi, how you doing? Welcome back. Always good to see you, brother. All right, so we are going to do some warming up together first. So I want you to get ready to sing. We're going to do about 2 warm-ups together, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about vocal technique. And whoever is interested in singing, please let me know. Please go ahead and drop that in the chat, and we will keep it moving. Oh, I lost my video. Oh. So we're just gonna pull this up here. Can you guys still see that video? Let me start this over. All right, so let me start it over. Share the screen, share the sound. Okay, all right. I lost it for a minute there. Okay, there we go. So, Eva, are you able to connect? It's still saying connect to the audio. I don't want to start if you can't hear us, if you can't hear me, or if you're not on yet. But again, anyway, again, welcome to Monday Night Masterclass. It's good to be getting back in the groove, getting back with you all, and also putting out new exercises. So if you haven't seen this past Sunday's exercise, don't worry, we'll do it together. And I'll also talk about, a little bit more about your vocal approach and the technique to that. And I also have another exercise that I want to share with you all if you all haven't seen it yet. And it's based off of a Ariana Grande song, which is really fun. I just, I don't know if you know this about me, but, I love all kinds of music. Yes, I'm an opera singer, classically trained, all that good stuff. But I grew up in church. I grew up listening to R&B and pop and jazz, of course, and all these types of music. I'm listening to these things, and it's like I can hear. Oh, we can turn that into an exercise. We can make this fun, and we can turn this into a fun vocalise. So I'm enjoying kind of playing around and doing things like that, and sharing some just different ideas of ways that you can tune up your voice, ways that we can skill our gifts and do our drills. If you have the boot camp program that I put out last year, then I talk very heavily about doing vocal drills. We are athletes, so we really need to take the time, just like the athletes just do their 3 points, or they just do their free throws, or they'll just practice their dribble, or they just run up and down the court. Whatever the drills are, it is intended to isolate certain aspects of fundamentals of technique. And the thing about vocal exercises, it does just that. It isolates the fundamentals of what we are trying to do vocally, so that we can, when we get it, put it in context, or when we get into the game, when we get into the song on Sunday morning or Saturday night, Friday, whatever it is you are doing with your voice, then those fundamentals start to come into play. And at the end of the day, it really makes your singing easier. You don't have to think about it as much. You don't have to think, how am I going to hit that high note? How am I going to use this color or this timbre that I'm looking for? How am I going to hold the phrase? All these things just kind of fall into place. But we do have to put the work into how we are building those skills, and how we are building those fundamentals. Okay. So this is one of those fundamentals. It's an octave leap exercise we're going to do together. And if you're not standing, you might want to, but it's up to you. I'm kind of used to this, so I don't necessarily have to stand. But if you get to the point where you feel like you're not able to get enough breath for the octave leap, then I encourage you to go ahead and stand up. If you are sitting down and unable to stand, really try to make sure you're filling up the breath, what we call like in the back. So if you're sitting against the chair, you feel your back expand into the chair. Let's let some more people in here. Come on in the room. You're just in time. Come on in the room. We're getting ready to do our first warm up together. And let's see. Welcome, welcome. We're getting ready to do our first warm up. And then, as I was explaining, I'll go into a quick little vocal lesson. It might be a little bit more of a sermon today, but I think I'm amongst family, I'm amongst friends. And then we'll get into the masterclass portion. And again, if you are interested in singing for today's masterclass, just go ahead and drop that in the chat. And I'll just call you up one by one, whoever's interested in singing. All right. So let's keep this moving. We are going to do our first exercise, and it is our octave leap. So I'm going to on Lord our God. Lord our God. All right. And we're going to take it all the way. You guys hear it? Can you hear it? I need a nod of a head. Yes. Okay, great, great, great. So we're going to start it. And what I want you to be paying attention to is welcome. Hi. What I want you to be paying attention to is your space from the low note to the high note, back down to the low note again. Okay. So, and when I talk about sticking your landing, it's making sure you're having enough space to keep the tone nice and clean. Okay. We don't want to be kind of flopping around and not have good control of our sound. Okay. So for this exercise, the best way to control that is the amount of space that you put, I hope you can hear it, the amount of space that you put into the vowel. The words are Lord, our God. So Lord on the low note, Lord, and you can do chest voice. Lord, pop up, our God. So that when I lift up and when I go up, I make sure I have either drop my jaw or I have enough what we call soft palate space. All right. If you're not familiar with that term, it's just the squishy space in the back of your mouth. It's like it's gonna go like this. Lord our God. So the more space you have, the more free the voice can be. All right. So let's try that together. Sorry. Up. So make sure you're paying attention to your breath control and your space control. All right. Lord our God.
Yeah, you with me? Your turn. Let's
Your
go.
turn now. Give it space on R as you go up. Take it up. Lord our God.
Open your mouth and
Your
breathe.
turn now. You want to make sure you expand as you go up. If you're not standing, get up. Lord our God.
Open it up.
Your turn now. Come on. You're going to need energy. We're going all the way up with this one.
Keep going.
Lord our God.
Open it up.
Your turn now. Yes. Get the breath going. Expand the space. Lord our God.
Let's go.
Lord our
Might be using the break of your voice. Open it up more.
All the spaces are back here, okay? Drop that jaw. Let's go. Lord our God.
Lord our
Your
God.
turn now. Come on. Time to stand up if you're not already standing. Get that breath going. Lord our God. Your turn now. Come on. Let's go. Get the space open. Expand the chest.
Open it up.
Lord our God. Your turn now. Be sure as you come down, you land on your feet. Keep the focus in the space. Lord our God. Your turn now. That's it. That's it. Come on. Yes, take it up. Lord our God.
Open it up. We can
Your
do
turn now. Yep. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Good, good, good. Lord our God. Your turn now. That was right in my break. I need to come on top of it, okay? Get your focus. Lord our God. Your turn now. Yes. Yes. I think we got a couple more here. Lord our God. Your turn now. I gotta land on my feet better than that. Come on. Get with me. Get with me. Let's go. Lord our God. Your turn now. I think that's the last one. Yes, it is. All right. Great job. All right, that's our first warm up. Our first warm up, okay? I hope you're sweating. I hope you're getting that breath going. But again, you have to make sure that you are preparing the space for where you're going. All right. So if you know you've got a big leap, you've got a big wide range there, make sure you're giving it enough space so that the throat doesn't start to cut off on you. That's the biggest thing. Did anybody feel tightness in their throat while they were going up? Sometimes, maybe so. Yeah, I feel it. Yeah. So if you're feeling that tightness in your throat, sometimes that could be, the posture. You don't have enough flexibility in your neck, or you may not have enough space in your mouth to be able to project that sound. Okay. So the higher we go, the more space we need. Point blank. Higher notes, more space. All right. So the next, thank you for doing that with me. That was fun. All right, let's do another one. This one is the one I just released on TikTok. Oh, and I am not recording. Oh well, I'll just get it from Facebook. Anyway, Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. No, I don't want to do that. I'll go ahead and start recording now. All right, so we're going to do another exercise where we are. It's one I based off of what you call Ariana Grande's 3435. So it's a pop song, and really the focus of this exercise is not to do is I'm not doing runs. I'm just doing a scale, okay? So the real point of this exercise is the 2-octave scale all the way down. I'll play it a little bit for you real quick, and then we'll go back and do it together. But again, it's a lot about the space, making sure you're preparing. If I know where I'm going, if I'm going a whole 2 octaves, and not a lot of people can do that seamlessly. So it takes work. And also, if I am controlling the breath as I come down, and my goal is to have a nice, seamless transition in between my high voice, my middle voice, and my low voice. Okay, so I'll play a little bit of it right quick for you here. Can you stay up all night? Love me to the bad word out. Here's the run. 30 for 35. So with that, 5, 2 octaves on one vowel. And I have to know in advance, where do my I call them gear shifts in my voice, or where are the breaks in my voice? So you can start to feel the throat kind of tighten up when you're coming to a break. Fa, that's one break for me. Fa, that's another break for me. Okay. So as I go down, it's like I'm thinking ahead. Where do I need to turn? Where do I need to pivot? How much breath do I need? And how much space do I need? 5. So you can do it slowly. Come on in the room. You can slow it down. 5. Speed it up. 5. And then tempo. Okay. So we ready to try the exercise? Yeah, let me see the nod your head. Did you have a question, Kenya? Oh, you were saying yeah. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's do it together. And I do it just one after a time. It's only a minute exercise. So we're going to do it together this time instead of the video and then us. Okay, so let's do it together. We've got about 5 key changes. It goes up high. For my fellas in the room, you already know, take it down. And for the ladies, if it goes too high, you can also take it down an octave. Okay. All right, let's do it together. Can you stay up all night? Love me to the daylight. The top is 30 for 35. That's all it's about. Can you stay up all night? Love me to the daylight. Space ready? 30 for 35. Keep it going. Can you stay up all night? Think about where you're going. All right. 2 30 for 35. Hair going. You don't want the throat to get tight. 5. 35. I like this shotgun it. Or to the daylight. 30 for 35. Can you stay up all night? Love me to the daylight. 30 for 35. Can you stay up all night? Love me to the daylight. 30 for 35. Can you stay up all night? All right. Love me to the daylight. 30 for 35. All right. So that's what I like to do. I like to just kind of take songs, like I said in the beginning. I love all kinds of music. Let me stop the share. I love all kinds of music. I love being able to take things and add the classical type of skill set, or the classical type of drills to it, so that I can have a little bit more fun. Not that classical isn't fun, but it's not necessarily for everybody. But it's a lot of fun being able to take different genres and things like that, but still run those the breath drills, the melismatic or the fast note drills, the scales, etc., with things like that. So yeah, it just kind of makes the time go a little bit smoother. other. All right. So, really quickly, I'm going to go into my little vocal lesson, or my vocal tips. And like I said, today may be a little bit of a sermon, but hopefully I won't be preaching too much at you. But welcome again to the Monday night masterclass. And again, if you are just joining us, go ahead and drop in the chat whether or not you want to sing. Once we get to the actual masterclass singing portion, you can sing anything you like. I work with all kinds of voices, all styles. It really doesn't matter. There's no judgment, and I just want to be able to help. I just want to be able to give a few tips and tools of how you can do what you love. I imagine you love to do it as much as I do, but to be able to help you do what you love to do a little bit easier, a little bit with a little bit more confidence. And if you're having trouble, you can feel free to ask questions, all those types of things. All right. So, again, welcome to the Monday Night Masterclass. And I'll get to the boot camp later, but you can check out on my website. I do have an online vocal boot camp that breaks down vocal technique, breathing from support. You can see my 5 S's in the back. The 5 S's are support, strength, space, smile, and submit. These are 5 categories or 5 elements of vocal technique that I've broken my lessons into. And it just kind of hopefully helps people to be able to navigate their voices with more ease and more confidence, and again, be able to run drills that will make you better athletes, more skilled athletes. All right. So, what I want to talk about today is I was reading in Matthew 13. Oops, let me put Matthew 13. Matthew 13. Let me put that down there. 24 through 30, which is the parable of the wheat and the weeds. And again, I'm not really getting into any preaching moment or whatnot, but just reading this scripture and reading this parable, I just kept thinking about vocal technique. It was like I took out all these words and would put the voice in. So once I was reading that, I said I have to share that at the masterclass. But I want to go through and kind of bit by bit give you my impression, my interpretation of how this story, how this parable could apply to what we deal with in our singing, in our public speaking, whatever it is you're doing professionally with your voice. So in this parable, Jesus told them the kingdom of heaven is like, and for me, I hear vocal technique is like, because we all want to be able to sing with a healthy voice. But a healthy voice is like someone who's sowed good seed into their field. So if you've ever had like a good lesson, a good vocal coaching, you're feeling really good about the practice you just had, or the performance, or the Sunday service you just sang for, and you sowed good seed, you practice well, all those things. So you're really feeling confident and like you're going to get, a good harvest. And in verse 25, it says, while everyone was sleeping, the enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. So a lot of times when we are studying the voice, or when we're working on our craft, those weeds can be, can kind of creep in. We can start comparing ourselves to others. That's a weed like mentality. We might get a nasty criticism from someone, maybe a teacher that we trusted, maybe said that's something that really affected us, maybe trolls on social media, and having to deal with people saying, things that aren't so kind. Or maybe you had a really good practice and then you end up waking up with a sore throat, or you're having trouble memorizing your music. So there are all kind of weeds that can come up and kind of try to distract and take away from the wheat. So this next verse goes into, and when the wheat sprouted and formed heads, the weeds also appeared. And like I said, having a good rehearsal, and then maybe waking up the next day with a sore throat, and it feels like all the work that you put in is then in jeopardy, or you're not going to be able to do your best, because all of a sudden now these weeds are coming up, or whatever the case may be for you. So the owners, verse 27, the owner's servants came to him and said, sir, Didn't you sow good seed in your field? Didn't you have a good lesson? Didn't you practice this week? Didn't you, listen to your music and get ready for Sunday, whatever your situation is? And the owner said, yes, I did. Then where did the weeds come from? So that next verse, an enemy did this, and again, it could be detractors, it could be haters, it could be, people who aren't very kind or aren't supportive of your gift, who people who may, not believe you have a gift to offer. So all these things can really try to distract you from the wheat that you are trying to grow. And the servants asked, "Do you want us to go and pull them up?" "No," he answered, "because while you are pulling up the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them." And to that, I really started to think about there were times where, I wasn't in the best voice and I forced my way through a practice, risking vocal injury, risking hoarseness. Maybe I didn't have enough energy to get through the service and I kind of, forced my way through it. Sometimes we end up putting more pressure on ourselves to try to pull up the weeds, to try to muscle our way through it. We're going to make this work. And it can really it could possibly take away from the good wheat. You could damage the voice. You could put more mental stress on yourself, or you could affect your confidence, or, bring on more insecurities. So allowing not trying to uproot the weeds will make sure that your wheat is allowed to grow. And that last verse 30 says, "Let both grow together until the harvest. At that time I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds, tie them in bundles to be burned." So we're going to get rid of it. The weeds will show themselves, "and gather the wheat and bring it into my barn." So letting them grow together, sometimes we have to know when to just rest, when to rest the voice and trust the work that we have put into, and not try to muscle our way through it, not try to force our voice to do things that maybe it's not ready to do or not able to do at that time. To keep working on those drills, keep working on those things that will strengthen our fundamentals, will strengthen our approach when we're in performance time, okay? And just being able to appreciate the voice that you are growing, and the process that you're going to grow that voice. So it's a tedious process, and sometimes it doesn't look like you're going to be able to make any progress. But believe me, we are athletes. The voice is a muscle. The whole vocal mechanism is a muscle. The more you work those techniques and fundamentals, you strengthen your ability. The mind is the strongest muscle that we sing with. So you strengthen your ability to be able to decipher between the wheat and the weeds. All right. So that was just my little vocal parable that I got from, reading that scripture. And again, learning that through it all, my voice is the wheat, being able to appreciate the harvest and the harvest time and the progress that I can make with that. And if maybe I don't yield so much of a harvest this time, to be not be deterred, to make sure I'm planting more seeds for the next harvest, to make sure I'm paying, okay, what did I do that may have taken away from my harvest, or maybe taken away from my vocal health? What can I do better next time? How can I breathe more next time? Breathe deeper next time. All these things that we should be working on a regular basis, because I don't know any professional athlete that goes into a game without having daily practice. So if we are working these muscles, if we want a stronger, more confident output from our voice, the more we work these muscles and these skills, and pay a lot of attention to our approach, we can really refine that. We can increase our confidence, and we can take it to the next level, which is really the goal. We always want to keep stretching ourselves. We always want to keep not really pushing ourselves, but growing in a way that we can use our gift and our instrument to the best of our ability. So that's my sermon for the night. And I hope that was something that you could would help motivate you to be more intentional and spend more care and time with your voice, paying more attention, being self-aware of how we're talking to each other, when what regular habits might be taking away from our vocal health or from our ability to do what we need to do when we need to do it. All right. In the game time, right? So that is that. I'm going to stop that share. And let me go ahead to, oh, Darren, you've just been typing away. I'm sorry, sweetie. I did not, I did not see this. Amen. Amen. So let's see. Thank you for joining us. I need to text you the lyrics. All right, break down to Mariah Carey. So if you have some suggestions of more pop songs, I will absolutely take it. I'll be putting out more pop exercises in addition to the gospel exercises as well. Oh, you sent me a direct message. I'll check that later. Okay, thanks, honey. Let's see. So is there anyone ready to sing? Anyone ready to sing for today and get some tips? Thank you, Kenya. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, Kenya, were you saying you wanted to sing? No. Wait, come off mute.
My first time coming on with you. I just wanted to check out everything, but I do have a question.
Yes, questions are welcome as well.
Okay. I have a vibrato, a very, very fast vibrato.
Okay.
That I feel like at when I was younger, I was able to control it more.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm getting older, I can't control it the way I used to. And some people think it's fine. Other people are like, this is bad. And I don't know.
And how do you feel about it?
It all depends. Because I feel that when I'm sustaining a note,
yes,
I want it to come at the very end, but sometimes it's not. And I don't know whether that's something that you can work on, because I've had it actually my whole life.
It is something you can work on. It is.
Okay.
Because and really, so have you received any breathing technique exercises or training?
I have. I was a music major in undergrad, and
yes.
Have been singing most of my life.
So are you a high soprano?
I am a soprano.
Yes. So yes, usually high sopranos do have faster vibratos, and the older we get, that vibrato rate does change, and we can kind of balance it out if it's getting too, we call it a tremolo, or if it's getting too fast to where we're not able to hear the clarity of the note. So that's when it starts to become an issue. And usually that goes back to either throat tension or breath or lack of breath support, or it might be a little bit too much air pressure. So you might have to sing it a little bit for me to hear what you mean.
Okay.
But, I'll talk a little bit more about it while you
think about it. Yes.
Yeah, while you think about it. But with that, and if you do a lot of where you're straight toning and then bring the vibrato in, really it might be an issue of space in the throat. So if it's more Lord, and then it kind of comes in, it might go a little bit too fast. You may want to make sure that your throat is still open and relaxed. Lord. And it just kind of lightly comes in instead of the vibrato taking over completely. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
And good. And then with the breath support, it may need to be a little bit deeper. And again, I just have to kind of hear and see you a little bit to see to make a more educated assessment. But
okay.
if and the thing about breath support, and I took about 20 years on well, not 20 years of lessons, but almost 10 years of lessons to get my doctorate, and then I've been teaching 15 years. And just like with anything, over time, we can kind of lose our grip on it, but as well as our bodies change. So the way I support now at 40, I'm about to be 42. The way I support now at 41, 42, after having a child, after, life, after posture issues, and I've had a vocal injury myself years ago. So recovering from that, just things change, things shift, and it feels very different from how I use my technique and my support when I was nice and supple and 20 years old and in undergrad. So it's just really being mindful of that. And yeah, knowing, paying attention to what you feel. If you feel the throat kind of take over, then that's my indicator that my breath support is off. So when my support is nice and balanced and focused, I don't feel tension in my throat. I don't feel the weight of the voice in my throat. And that sometimes for some people, it's a little unnerving because that's how you know you singing real good. That's how you know you're singing good because you can feel it, right? But that can also become a lot of tension over time. And it can also be more and more difficult to sustain as we get older. If we're not in the best vocal health at the time. So for me, it's just always been better or best using my technique so that I don't feel the pressure in my throat. And that way I can negotiate and maneuver, especially for a high soprano. I probably don't go nearly as high as you do, but especially for a high soprano, if that throat starts to take over, it cuts off it. Do you know it cuts off some of your range? Can you feel that sometimes? Yeah, you can come off mute. Go ahead.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so we
Definitely.
being mindful of that and knowing how much space we need for the voice to feel free, for the throat to feel free. And it's scary and like I said, unnerving because it feels like you can't control it. But almost like with life and the way God works, again, I'm not trying to preach, but the more we try to control the situation, God is like, yeah, just let go. Just let it go. Just let me do it. It's already built to work for you. It's already built to work off the breath. It's already built to work off of your mental energy. I think the note, I breathe in the air, the note is there. It doesn't really take whatever it is that we kind of go through, all this extra that we have a tendency to put into, especially in opera. But it doesn't really require all of that, but we do need to know where we're going. We do need to know how to manipulate the breath and the space and the mechanism that's already built, like I said, to work for you. So have you changed your mind? You want to give me a itty bitty snippet?
Okay. So I gotta stand up.
Yeah, if you feel you must.
I have to stand up. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out. So what would be the high end of my range? Let me see. So if I stumbled on this photograph, it kind of made me laugh. It took me way back down memory lane. I see the happiness, I see the pain. Where am I? Back down memory lane. The way you held me, no one could tell me that love would. See, I can't even do that anymore. I used to.
Okay, I got you. I want you to do that again. Well, I don't know what the words are.
Okay.
What? Can you see yourself in the screen?
Yes, I can.
So the higher you go, like I said in the exercise, if you can get more of that space, that
Okay.
I mean, stretch it. Stretch
Okay.
it. Like put a whole fist in your mouth. Try it.
The way you held me, no one could tell me that love would. I can do it.
Think
Not
about the
but
vowel.
I'm
Hold
doing
on. Yeah, don't think about the note. Think about the pitch and how much space you need for it to feel free. Think about it before you hit it. Yes. Yes. Was it a little bit easier?
It was easier. I didn't feel the tension, so I needed more space. More
and
space.
watch yourself, because when you get to that, when I saw you get to that point, and I do it too, I have to look in the mirror. You went that, and
Uh,
squeezed. You
yes.
squeezed right there. So watch yourself. If you're going, you're gonna cut off the space you need.
Uh,
You want that kind of space. And I think you can go even higher than
right.
that. But we're gonna let you rest.
Let me rest.
We're gonna let
But
you
did
rest.
you? I don't know if you heard. Did you hear the fast vibrato coming in and out?
Not really. Not really. Just towards the end, I heard it more. I heard it faster in your lower register. In your upper range, it balances out. But
Yeah.
in the lower, you might be putting, not might be. I know for a fact you've got a little bit too much space. You
Okay.
kind of photograph, kind of made me laugh. Just
Okay.
kind of, just be a little bit more relaxed with the lower part. Back
Okay.
down memory lane. And so it doesn't need to be back down memory lane. It kind of makes a little bit too much air, or too much sound is escaping. So I'd say, I don't have my straw, but I use a straw when I
Hmm.
want to focus that space. And if you could sing into the space of the straw, I stumbled on this photograph. It kind of made me laugh, and it'll kind of come right there. The space will refine itself. I don't want to say tighten, but it'll focus itself like right in here. Okay,
Okay.
and so yeah, I don't think it's so much breath support as it is the space in the throat. But
Okay.
I need to see a little bit more and hear a little bit more to know.
We'll talk
Well, thank
privately.
you. I appreciate you singing. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for
My
answering my question.
pleasure. My pleasure. Anybody else? Anybody else? Any questions? You don't have to sing. You have any questions? Anything you're working on, or anything that's just been kind of bugging you vocally? All right, last call.
I think that, I'm sorry. Hi,
That's
my name is
cool.
Ashley. I think that one of the things I'm trying to work on is being able to, and I remember what you were saying was being able to think the note and then kind of just trust yourself to go there. And I
Mhm.
think oftentimes that's where I guess I meet like a rock in a hard place. I'm not trusting myself to be able to hit the notes, and then I can feel it in my
Mhm.
throat.
Yes.
And I think that I'm nervous that I'm going to like injure my voice when I'm singing. And so I guess I'm wondering, like, when you mentioned like how to create space,
Mhm.
I want to know a little bit more about how to do that.
Excellent. So, thank you again. Thanks for coming. And I love that question. So, creating the space in the throat. I use a bendy straw. Oh, here it is. Yay. I use a bendy straw to kind of give a visual representation of how, and this one is kind of stretched out, but how the vocal mechanism is shaped, or the vocal tract. So we have a tube that the air travels through, then we have the vocal cords, and then that sound is shaped more in the mouth. That's where we get the colors, the vowels, the words, etc. So understanding that the vocal, I don't know if you can see me. Okay. Understanding that the vocal tract is shaped kind of like this bendy straw, and it comes up, then it goes up here and it curves around. Okay. So when I'm feeling this, what I want to feel in my singing is an open flow of air in this direction. It'll come up and then curve and then come a little bit down and out. The thing that we get in our own way with is the higher the notes, we start lifting our chin. And when we bring that up, we're then taking and distorting the space that the throat needs, and the voice needs in order to do what it needs to do. Okay. So if I'm talking like this, if my chin is up this high and I'm talking, you can hear the difference in my speaking voice because I'm cutting off the space in the throat that it's naturally shaped to travel through. Okay. So we want to kind of avoid that kind of head position for that space. So that's the space right here. And then the space here, just frees up the sound. You've seen the bell on the end of a trumpet or a trombone, and it kind of goes out like that. The space in the mouth, dropping the jaw, lifting what we call the soft palate, and creating optimal space as the notes go up just allows the voice the freedom to vibrate. The voice is right here, and then the sound travels and it bounces off of all these resonators and it comes out. So if I am singing just with a nice, relaxed throat, if I lift my chin, it makes it very difficult to move. It also makes the tone sound a little bit more pinched, okay? The other extreme could be sometimes we get classically trained singers that put their chin down in their chest. So you can go from one extreme to the other and end up cutting off the flow of air needed for the voice to feel free and vibrate on its own. So I really try to create enough space between my back teeth. All of that, so that I can just send the breath, think it, and let it go. It takes a while to get to the point where you can just let the engine go. It took me a while to drive the car with my knee and just, take my hands off the steering wheel and be like, oh, the car will be fine. And you don't really want to do that. But I think you get my point. Just being able to allow it to work on its own. Sometimes we have to learn, okay, these are the functions. This is how I need to set it up. And then I need to just let it go. So hopefully that can kind of help explain a little bit more space. Your vowel shape makes a difference as well. That's why with the exercise I did what we call tall vowels, Lord our God, instead of, for instance, a smaller vowel, make a way, a vowel would have a tendency to be more closed. But Lord our, the way we should be saying it would have a more open throat, open mouth, and then we can project the sound through that. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. And then the portion that you mentioned about opening up the back of my mouth, that definitely helps me. I'm super visual, so
So
definitely.
if you can put, I try maybe two fingers, just depending on where you're going. So go back to that example I gave. Make a way. Yeah, the vowel might be a little thin, but I can put into the vowel so that it's easier. Make a way. So if I know the vowel that I'm singing doesn't give me enough space, I'm going to do what we call vowel modification and open it up more so that I can get the space. Same thing with you, Kenya, with the vowel that you sang as you went up with the vowel. I can't remember what vowel, but it was a closed vowel, what we call a closed vowel. And if you think instead of whatever the vowel was, it will create more of that backspace for you as well. Okay. All right. Does that help, Ashley, as well?
It definitely does help. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions? Nobody has to sing if you don't want to. Any other questions? Anything I can clarify or help steer you in the right direction as far as technique is concerned? If not, I'm gonna bid you all adieu and close early because I am supposed to be in rehearsal right now, but they're letting me come in late. So yeah, just going back to the parable, making sure that you are allowing your wheat to grow. Sometimes those weeds get in the way and they affect our thinking, they affect our confidence. Like you said, you start to get nervous that you might injure yourself, so then you start to shut down or go in the opposite, retreat backwards. So whatever those weeds are that are getting in the way of your vocal progress, sometimes we do have to leave them alone, let them go. Don't try to, force your way through it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't think that you don't have enough to offer. But sometimes we just have to keep going through it, keep skilling, keep allowing the wheat to grow and skilling those fundamentals in our technique. And when it's harvest time, when you get up and to sing on Sunday morning, or when you have your concert, and when you're singing with the band or whatever it is you're doing, that harvest time will pay off, and you will start to see all those weeds will fall by the wayside, and what you have left is the work and the talent and the perseverance that you put in with your instrument and with your gift. So Kenya, did you have another question?
I did, Dr. Lori, because I have not been studying um, with anyone in years, and I want to start again just to shore up my technique again. So I wanted a recommendation. I was looking at over your program, so I was thinking about what would be best, so that I am vocalizing daily and using space and doing those things correctly, because I don't want to injure myself as I'm stepping back into this.
Yes, yes. So, if you're not ready to go and get the program just yet, you could start off with, just vocal exercises. There are a ton of vocal exercises on YouTube that a lot of vocal trainers and coaches are putting out there now. Search for some things that are fun for you. I have the whole warm up praise series. If that's your thing, there are some that are, based off of more oh, what's her name? Cheryl Porter. I really, she has some fun exercises, and I have some students who bought her program. It's not endorsement, but it's just if you're looking for something different and something to really motivate you to get in the mood to practice and do that on a daily basis, because just doing the,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
bored. I'm bored with it. That's why I started doing the other ones. So I get it. Find something that's going to motivate you and energize you and challenge you at the same time.
So I think I was referring to because you had more than one offering. So I'm looking at where I am and what you recommend in your offerings that would best fit.
I got you. Yes, my apologies. So the boot camp, it does go back and I go in a lot of detail, and Darren
Okay.
can tell you about it. I go in a lot of detail in things that we might not have gotten in undergrad, and I'm also breaking it down in a more succinct way. So I
Okay.
don't spend a lot of time on the vocabulary that we had to study and memorize.
Okay.
What's the point of vocal technique to be able to support the sound, to be able to be confident, all those things. So what I'm working on now, I have an app coming soon, how I'm breaking down the program. And so instead of starting at the beginning, you could start, a little bit further in, starting with maybe just a support and doing just support exercises and things like that. But what I'm gonna say is send me an email. You have my email address, right?
Yes.
Yes, send me an email. We might just need to start with a consultation.
Okay.
And let's just do a quick consultation, and let me see what your recollection is of your technique and how you use your voice, how you've been working your technique, and then see, because you may not need the program at all. We might just start with coaching and get right to it.
Okay.
But you do need to find exercises that you can do on a regular basis. The program does have, it's got over 50 exercises in it for each one of the S's. And it also has backing tracks, so you can play it for yourself, and then you can do just breathing, or you can do breathing and singing, etc. So just, yeah, let's have a quick assessment and go from there, and then kind of see, how you want to get going. Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. And I'm off vacation, so I'm getting back into, I've been vacationing for like the last couple months, but I'm getting back into my studio schedule. So definitely reach out to me, and let's get going here. All right. All right. If there's nothing else, I appreciate you all. Again, if you are interested, anyone else interested, just reach out to me, email me, or send me a message on my website, and subscribe there. I'm sending out emails every week with the weekly exercises. So that can keep you, kind of keep it in the forefront of your mind as well. And then once the app is ready, I'll have several modules that are free that will have the exercises already broken down, and you can just get right to it instead of having to go search on YouTube. So that's what I'm working on now. Give me a minute. Give me a minute with the app. It's real tedious. It takes a lot of work, and I probably need to hire some help. But again, thank you all for coming. I will see you all next month for August masterclass. And if I do something, if I decide to do something in between there, I'll send you guys an email. So make sure you're subscribed to the website, LCH Studios, so that I have your email and I can send you guys updates of what's going on. All right. All right. Thank you all for coming. Let's go ahead and play the 5S song and get out of here. Where's my thing? Here it is. Let's get on out of here. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Tell a friend. Practice. Get that voice in shape. It's a muscle. We are athletes. Work every day if you can. All right. 30 minutes. That's all it takes. See you guys. All right.